Zoo Project 2012, StracTV.com. We are joined by James Teej. James, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. A little tired, but all good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So is this your first time at doing Zoo Festival?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, first time. So it's a good one. Couldn't ask for better weather. So
yeah, it's been amazing.
Absolutely.
So you are originally from Toronto, right? That's kind of your background. How do you compare the scene out there to here, to London?
Well, I've actually lived all over Canada. Toronto is where I've been for like the last 6 years.
Okay.
And it's different. I mean, Canada's got a thriving electronic music scene. There's tons of people that have come out of Canada over the last like couple decades.
Sure.
So as far as the scene, it's pretty small and it's pretty grassroots. I mean, it's really kind of up to a very tight-knit sort of group of people that keep it alive and do the parties and that kind of thing. So I was raised listening to like psychedelic rock and roll, like 60s and 70s psychedelic rock, like the Yardbirds, 10 Years After, Donovan, that kind of thing. And then in about 92, 93 was the first time that I ended up getting a tape that was imported from the UK, oddly enough.
Obviously.
Of some proper acid house, and I was hooked at that point, and that's sort of kind of what started the whole journey.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got a pretty wide variety of musical tastes. I listen to everything from jazz to classical to hip hop and everything.
Wow, so quite eclectic then.
Absolutely, yeah. Music's my life.
So what do you do outside the music scene? Do you have a scene outside the music scene? A life outside the music scene?
Not really. I mean, between touring, between running the record label, My Favorite Robot Records, between all of the productions and stuff like that, music's pretty much been all-consuming for the last couple of years. So, which is not a bad thing.
No,
but
it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so on that music note, where do you see the scene going, like in 5 to 10 years time? The whole like techno dance scene, or do you just see
these worlds? Look, if you asked me 10 years ago if things would be going as strong as they are, I honestly really didn't think. I'm surprised with how big it's gotten. I think I'd like to see North America electronic music continue to develop.
Sure.
I think that the last couple of years there's been a good resurgence. Stylistically, maybe not up my alley, but it's definitely getting the kids listening to electronic music, and I think that's super good. And I don't know. I think for me, I hope that the future is a little bit more musical. That's kind of the stuff that we're into, and what we do with the label, and what we do with the other projects. And yeah, I just, I'd like to, I see it growing. I don't see it going anywhere. But yeah, I just, because I live in North America, I gotta say I'm really like rooting for North America.
So you're like proud North American, get in.
Yeah, I'm a proud Canadian. I'm a proud Canadian. But yeah, I mean, that's where I grew up. And I think living in Canada and being involved in like the electronic music scene there, because it's not a massive community, man, it's cool, and I want to see it continue to grow. I come to Europe, I get to travel all over the world and see all these other sort of emerging scenes, and it's, makes me feel really sort of reassured that things are heading in the right direction.
Okay, so
ultimately.
But on the back of that, you were saying you're very much a Canadian. Are you a big fan of Drake then, because Drake's across the scene?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I've met him a couple times, and cause I work with a couple hip hop guys in Toronto, and sort of our paths have crossed before his mega stardom. Look, straight up, I really love hip hop. I'm not a huge fan of Drake, but at the same time, I think it's really great that a Canadian has been able to sort of penetrate the North American music market as well as he has. So, props to him. Gotta love, no hate.
You gotta respect that, I guess.
Absolutely. You can't hate that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so just before we go, if you could go out and rave anywhere, I know that you're in the scene as a DJ, but if you can go out and party anywhere, where's your favourite place to party? Like for the guys at home, they want to like go abroad somewhere.
Brazil.
Brazil's awesome. Whereabouts in Brazil? Like Floripa? Like down in the south, or more like?
Absolutely, down in the south. I was there for the first time just a couple, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I did like a 10-day tour down there, and it was really cool. I'm really into South America right now. I think it's a super emerging scene, and the people that I've met there are amazing, and man, do they know their music. It's really cool. I haven't seen anything like that before. I wish Canada was a little bit more like that, honestly, but Yeah.
Okay. And what's the, mapping back a little bit now, what's the first song you ever listened to? Do you remember that moment when you heard your first song, or is that going way too far back?
Do you know what? I mean, I wish I knew the names of the songs. I still have the mixtape at home, and I think I wore it out. But obviously, there's no track list on these mixes and stuff, so I can't say. I mean, like, standout track for me, because I'm I'm a total acid head. I've always loved acid. Probably Josh Wink. You know, any of Josh Wink's earlier stuff to me is just, you know, kind of stands out. But again, I mean, I've been listening to music and studying music and making music my whole life, so it's just, that's a tough one. But yeah.
So have you got any final words for the Zoo Project 2012 before you shoot off?
No, I'm going to actually go and enjoy myself now that I'm all done, and go and enjoy a couple bevies and see where the night takes me, I guess.